Right now on Fox 21 News at 6.
Tonight, we have team coverage on the courthouse shooting in Grand Marais.
As you know, we had a very tragic day in Cook County yesterday.
Day 2 of investigations begin. Hear the progress police have made on the case so far.
Overwhelming. You can't deal with that. It's just unbelievable.
The community reacts as the shooting shakes up their small resort town. Details pouring in about the suspected shooter. Hear about his former run-ins with the law. But first tonight, 2 victims recovering in the hospital after getting pounded with bullets several times.
This is Fox 21 News at 6.
Good evening, everybody. On this Friday, I'm Deanne Alexander. We begin tonight with team coverage on that bold, chaotic shooting rampage at the Cook County Courthouse in Grand Marais that targeted the county attorney and a witness in a sex abuse case. That's where we find Fox 21's Dan Hanger live outside the crime scene for us tonight with the latest details from authorities. Dan.
Deanne, this is still an active crime scene here in Grand Marais. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension coming here late last night, staying through the day. Take a look behind me right now. Police tapes still surrounding the building, the courthouse here, including the entrances to the building here, while crime scene investigators continue to comb through their evidence. We'll take you back to 4 p.m. yesterday when this shooting happened inside the Cook County Courthouse. A jury finding 42-year-old Daniel Schlintz of Grand Marais guilty of third-degree criminal sexual conduct. This is the suspect in the shooting case. It was a verdict that would quickly turn into a rage and chaotic violence. Authorities saying Schlintz went out to his car, came back with a gun, started shooting. His alleged victim's 45-year-old Cook County attorney Tim Scannell, who was shot 3 times, according to officials. He was the prosecutor in the suspect's case. The other victim, 53-year-old Greg Thompson of Grand Marais, also shot 3 times. He was a witness testifying against Schlintz. Minnesota State Patrol Cook County deputy arriving on scene, quickly arresting Schlintz, putting an end to this near-fatal rage of violence. State, local authorities speaking out earlier today in a press conference to the media.
The suspect's defense attorney, his attorney, was very, very critical in probably saving the life of our county attorney. And we also had a first responder, Dave Beckwith, I think was his name. He was very critical in attending to the county attorney. So there was a lot of heroes that really averted something much, much more serious.
As for the conditions of the victims, county attorney there, Scannell, is listed in fair condition at the latest here from the hospital following his surgery. Thompson, the witness in this case, also in good condition. Both are at Essentia Health. Both are in Essentia Health here in Duluth. We'll go ahead and toss it over here to Jacob Kittelstead, who was talking to different residents all day today in this small-knit community. Frankly, neighbors who are around, who live around this courthouse here. It has to be tough.
Yes, this is a very small community. About 1,400 people live here. And as I talked to these people, inevitably, they knew someone who was either at that court case, was injured, or involved in some way. Looking from a distance at the Cook County Courthouse.
Overwhelming. You can't deal with that. It's just unbelievable.
Longtime community members don't quite know how to handle Thursday afternoon's triple injury shooting.
Because I've been active in the community for a long time, and you walk in and that courthouse and you have no concerns about your safety. Everybody's friendly. This just blows my mind.
This is a very resilient community. We're a strong community. We're not going to let something like this take us down.
The Cook County Sheriff's Department admits they don't remember an event of this scale happening in Grand Marais history, but neighbors already prepare to offer emotional support.
I think this community has the most sense of community of any place that I've lived. So people will rally and take care of each other and be there for whoever needs it.
When any activity such as this happens, the community gets warm together. They think about each other, and they feel how fortunate they are to have had an opportunity to live in an area which doesn't often have the kind of a problem that you normally see in the city.
Many of these friends holding off on comforting these other families and other neighbors until more information comes out. And Dan, we should remember that this happened only a little more than 24 hours ago.
Absolutely, very tough. Thank you, Jacob.
Yes,
appreciate it. Well, now we want to ask this question. Who is Daniel Schlintz, the shooting suspect in this case? For that part of the story and team coverage here on Fox 21 News, we head over to Fox 21's Dana Thayer live in the newsroom back in Duluth to explain that part of the story.
Yes, Dan, hearing from his father, attorney, and former boxing coach today all have a different perspective on this man and his ongoing run-ins with the court. Schlins was a former boxer in the Duluth and Grand Marais area. Today, his father telling us the whole family is hysterical. He claims his son felt persecuted by some of the community, that he doesn't understand why life has to be this way to push his son so far that this would happen. He questioned how his family is supposed to show their face in the community again. A different side coming from Schlins' former boxing coach in Duluth. He worked with him for a few years before saying he started to get, quote, weird and said uncomfortable sexual comments and jokes to people at the gym.
But then it kept going on and on. Then it wouldn't stop. And then we started talking. I said, hey, anybody jokes that much, something's on his mind. I don't like him. He creeps me out. I'm done with this guy.
Schlins' attorney, John Lilly, saying he doesn't believe his client was surprised by yesterday's guilty verdict, but he was disappointed. The attorney saying he was shocked after seeing Schlins storm into the courthouse before opening fire. And this case does have a lengthy history. Yesterday was actually a retrial of the case that was stemming from 2005. There were two similar cases that were set to be tried after yesterday's was completed. But, Dan, we will have more details about that tonight at 9.
Okay, thank you, Dana, for that report. Now, coming up tonight on Fox 21 News at 9, we look deeper into the security concerns at this courthouse. Officials telling us there are no metal detectors in this building. We ask them why, and you might be surprised what the answer is. Also, we hear from the bailiff who helped in this struggle with the suspect. For now, we're live outside the Cook County Courthouse in Grand Marais. Dan Hanger, Fox 21 News.
All right, thanks, Dan. We look forward to those reports tonight at 9 o'clock. Well, tonight at 9, we're actually talking, like Dan just said, about the lack of security at the courthouses there and all over the Northland. So we'd like to know, do you think courthouses should be equipped with metal detectors and other security measures? You can head over to our Facebook, sound off there, and we'll read some of those comments tonight at 9. Well, in other news, Grand Rapids police needing your help in finding witnesses to a theft. They're looking for these two people pictured there on your screen who they say weren't accounted for when the crime happened. Police say just before noon Tuesday, the Grand Rapids Fraternal Order of Eagles reported a theft of a large amount of money. Police saying it's well over $1,000. They'd like you to give them a call if you know anything. And a Hibbing woman spending nearly 2 years in prison for theft by swindle. 56-year-old Kathleen Sismo getting her sentence Thursday for stealing from Perella and Associates real estate company in Hibbing. Sismo was sentenced to 21 months in a Minnesota correctional facility in Shakopee. We'll talk in weather now. Most of us caught a glimpse of that sun today. And Jason, we're sitting pretty now. Are we going to sit like this for the weekend?
Yeah, we'll actually build the temperature up, but the clouds are already making their way back in, so a sunny weekend, at least for the front half of it, won't be in the cards for us. But again, those clouds moving in, we saw the sunshine. It was actually absolutely a wonderful day. Didn't get that warm, though, as that drier air filtered its way in, dropping our temperatures down into the single digits. Grand Marais, -2 there. Dew Point even further to the south. So we'll see them taper off into the evening tonight as well. Temperatures down in the single digits, double digits in Moose Lake. Not, again, record-breaking, but still cold. Back to normal temperatures for this time of year. We'll see how far we build up those temperatures coming up here in a little bit.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, Jason.
Yep.
Well, Duluthians giving a lesson in Minnesota culture today. A group from Russia visiting Duluth as part of the Open World program. During their stay, they'll learn about U.S. government and developments. Today was a lesson in recreational activities, all happening at Spirit Mountain.
They wanted to see a four-season resort complex and how it works. They do not have that there.
I think it is great that the residents have such a nice resort here. We'd like to have a similar resort.
The group heads back to Russia tomorrow. Well, straight ahead, a Duluth group sending a political message through song. Plus, more changes to your Facebook. Your Fox Business Report is next.
Consumer prices stayed flat in November, the latest sign that inflation has cooled. The flat CPI reading is being attributed to lower energy prices. They've dropped last month for the second month in a row, but prices for food, clothes, and medical services rose. Still excluding the volatile food and energy categories, the so-called core index rose 0.2%, and that was more than expected. The maker of BlackBerry reported sales last quarter that disappointed and issued a lower than expected forecast for this quarter. Research in Motion shares are lower as the company faces increasing pressure from the Apple iPhone and Google's Android. Facebook has rolled out Timeline. It's a feature that turns 800 million users' pages into virtual scrapbooks of photos and wall posts through the years. For many, opting into Timeline will serve as a trip down memory lane. For others, they'll have 7 days to weed out the pics and posts they don't want on memory lane. If your credit score is mediocre, it may be easier for you to get credit next year. Credit card defaults dropped so sharply this year that banks may pick up their pace of opening new accounts next year. It's not likely that card companies will open the floodgates as readily as they did before the recession. And some of the biggest banks in the world are getting slammed again. Fitch has downgraded Citigroup along with several others, citing increased challenges in the financial markets. And for more on business-making news, log on to foxbusiness.com. In New York, I'm Lauren Simonetti.
A group of Duluthians singing Christmas carols to Congressman Chip Kravac, but not the kind you'd think.
Tax the rich and feed the hungry. Fa la 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 la.
The group Minnesotans for Fair Economy, unemployed and local residents all on the steps of the federal building today singing Christmas carols about a bill that could cut unemployment insurance. It's a bill Kravac supports. The group says not only do they want extended unemployment benefits, but it's also an effort to put Kravac in the holiday spirit.
And he's a bit of a Scrooge, leaving out folks that need to be helped in this time of a tight economy. So he's forgetting the 99%.
Carolers saying the bill will rob more than 40,000 Minnesotans of their unemployment benefits. Minnesota getting a grant of up to $45 million to support early childhood programs. Senators Amy Klobuchar and Al Franken, along with the U.S. Representative Tim Walz, making that announcement today. Minnesota is one of 9 states awarded the Race to the Top grant. 2 Wisconsin legislators teaming up to hold a meeting on the recently released mining bill. This meeting that you're seeing now here in a second is happened actually back in October in Hurley. Next month's meeting is all in response to overwhelming demand to voice public comment on that bill. Representative Janet Bewley and Senator Bob Jauch both holding it Saturday, January 7th at the Ashland High School auditorium. There was a meeting earlier this week in Milwaukee, but both legislators say that's too far for public to travel to voice their opinions. Well, a little sun this morning was a nice way to round out the week, but will it stretch through our weekend? Hopefully. Jason Sudeiko is in next with your forecast.